Hi everyone, I'm Nicole and today I am doing a book haul. So I kind of wanted to go through some of the books that I've accumulated over the past few months. Putting them together is quite a lot. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to split this into more than one video so nobody gets bored. I know we all love books, but when I say there's a lot, I mean there's a lot that I've accumulated. Blame it on lockdown, blame it on I have no willpower, but let's just get into them. So I'm going to start off with a couple which I don't know when these came into my possession. I think they were pre-orders and I genuinely don't know when they came into my possession. So the first one is A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kemmer. This is the sequel to A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which I have not read yet. I think I got an email from like Fairy Loot because I used to subscribe to them. I love them, but I had to unsubscribe just for a little bit. They asked me if I wanted their version of this book and I was like, yes please, because I mean that'll match. I really hope I love this series because I've also ordered the third one. Don't judge me. That's what it looks like underneath. I do love it when they have like designs underneath, but there's something about like just a plain cover that just makes me think of like really old libraries or secondhand shops or stuff like that. So yeah, some say boring, but I don't mind it. What I do know about this series is I know at least the first book. I think it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I can't tell you much about the sequel. I think if you haven't read the series or the sequel or any of them, you probably don't want to know about the second one anyway. But yeah, I think this, at least the first one, is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Was it Beauty and the Beast? Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think that's what this is. And I really do want to get to it soon. The next one, which I'm not entirely sure when it came into my possession, is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. So I bought this because the title, The Midnight Library, really intrigued me. Oh my god, it's like exactly the same almost, except it doesn't have... Why do I like that? On the front it's got this. And I was just really intrigued by the title, I think. The cover I really love as well. One Library, Infinite Lives. So basically, from what I can tell, there's this library. And within the library are like an infinite number of shelves. And all the books provide another life you could have lived. And it's kind of like... I kind of feel like I've spoken about this before, but I might have edited it out. I can't remember. So I think I've said before that I think a lot about choices. Choices that we've made that lead us to the lives that we're living now, and choices of our ancestors which enable us to be here now. And from the sounds of it, this book, it allows you to live out the lives that you could have lived if you made different choices, and that just sounds fascinating to me, who thinks about that way too much. I must have read what the book was about, but I forget a lot of the time, I'm not gonna lie. And then they turn up, I'm just like, oh, that's pretty, and then it goes on my shelf. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. If you've read it, let me know what you think. If you haven't read it, let me know if you're thinking about reading it. That is the same with all of these books. I will not repeat it for every single one because that's gonna get tiring, but yeah, if there's any of these which you've read or want to read, let me know. Okay, so this one is definitely like the earliest one that I remember buying. I think this must have been back in like maybe May, maybe a little bit before May. Oh god. Okay, well, it was published in 2019. I'm going back way too far on this one because I think this was one that I pre-ordered. But we're gonna go with it anyway. This is I Want to Be Where You Are by Kristen Forrest, and it is about a girl who really wants to go to dance school, but her mother says no. But she decides, I want to go to dance school, I'm going to dance school. And from the sounds of it, she like hitches a ride with a neighbour or somebody, and chaos ensues from the sound of it. So yeah, I really want to get to this one. It sounds like quite a fun but poignant read, potentially. So yes. Once again, it's a plain green book. The next one that I got is Beach Read by Emily Henry. I heard about this earlier this year, and from what I heard, it's about two writers and they meet when they are vacationing somewhere, and they each decide to try and write a bestseller from the other person's genre, like what the other person would normally write genre wise. I don't know if I've explained that very well. I love writing, and when I heard about this book I instantly just wanted to get my hands on it and read it. I haven't read it yet, don't judge me. It sounds like a really cool and interesting read. Another one I picked up is the Sullivan Sisters by Catherine Ormsby. I think that's how you pronounce it. For some reason this cover I think reminded me of Charmed. I think it's just like the three girls. And Sullivan Sisters has a kind of witchy title. So from the sounds of it, one of them is an aspiring magician whose turtle has just died. Another one sounds quite ambitious because she's just been rejected by her dream college, and the other one seems to have a growing addiction to what I don't know. But just before Christmas, I was going to read this around Halloween and I'm still like tempted to, but maybe it's more a Christmassy read, but maybe not. Anyway, just before Christmas they receive a letter saying that their uncle has passed away and they need to deal with the inheritance. It's an inheritance they knew nothing about, and from the sounds of it there is a family mystery they never knew about and potentially murder. So I'm really intrigued. I really want to read this. For some reason the girl in the cover in like the middle, I hope you can see that because I can't see my phone now, but she really reminds me of Ali from Pretty Little Liars. Just an observation. Ooh, that's really pretty. I like that. Nice. I like it a lot. Okay, so the next ones I bought I'm going to talk about all together because they are a series, and that series is Ruby Red series. Yay! I got this one because I think there was a challenge in a readathon back in July, which was read a book the same colour as your birthstone. My birthday's in July, so my birthstone is Ruby, and I've always kind of been curious about this series. I've heard it mentioned numerous times on BookTube. So, and the thing is, when I saw this one, I really love this cover and I can rarely find it nowadays. And then I saw they had these as well. So I kind of just bought the whole series. I have always loved it. There's a clock on this book, and if you have seen one of my freaking Do I Know My books, I was looking all over for a bloody clock. Yeah, I've always thought these covers were really beautiful. I've heard this has, oh, clock. I've heard this has a lot to do with time travel. She wasn't expecting to travel through time or to lose her heart. From the sounds of it, there is a time traveling gene in her DNA, which sounds really cool. Not gonna lie. Apparently, okay, so apparently this time traveling gene, which has run through the female side of her family, they thought it skipped a generation with Gwen, the main character. So it comes as quite a surprise when she suddenly time travels to maybe like an unknown century. I don't know, I haven't read it yet, but I'm insanely more intrigued now. I was anyway. I wouldn't have bought it even just for the cover if I wasn't, but it was mainly like the hype surrounding it. Like everyone seemed to rave about these books, so that was the main reason. I got a plain red. Red's my favourite colour, so I approve of that. I'm gonna take a wild guess, say it's gonna be all blue. Shocking. And drum roll for the third, we have another plain green book. The next book I got, I have wanted to read this. I wouldn't have bought any of these if I didn't want to read them, but this book, it's intimidating and I do want to read it. But I did see it and just think it was absolutely gorgeous, and that is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. This book, honestly, it's freaking huge. Anyway, yeah, so look, it's like actually reflecting. Yeah, so it's only like, well, I say only, it's like 800 pages. but it's just a lot. It's a lot of text from the look of it. It's pretty. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I love this book and I do really want to read it. It wasn't just pretty book, let's buy it. I do genuinely want to read it one day. The fact that it's absolutely gorgeous is just a bonus, really. But also probably one of the main reasons I bought it. Just let me live. So another one I got is The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. I read The Final Empire earlier this year and absolutely fell in love with it. I fell in love with the world, I fell in love with the characters, I fell in love with just all of it. I liked the writing, I liked that it wasn't just filled with drama for the sake of drama. I genuinely enjoyed that book. So I can't tell you much about this book because one, I haven't read it yet, but also I don't want any spoilers. So what I will say is, if you haven't read The Final Empire, which I feel like a lot of people have because it's quite well talked about on here, you follow a young girl named Vin and somebody who's slightly older, a guy named Kessler. Kessler runs a crew and Vin was part of another crew but is hired by, essentially, or chosen by Kessler to be part of his crew. So I don't want to like go into too much detail about what it's about. I will say that I was completely and totally surprised by some of the stuff that happened in the book. I will say that I thoroughly enjoyed the world building. I enjoyed like the magic system. It's all like metals and you ingest the metals to have like a certain ability come about. It's really well thought out and really, really good. I'm not doing it justice. It's like you have heists, you have magic powers. Kind of reminds me of Leverage or Hustle, if you've ever seen those. Mainly Leverage. It's like the band of people coming together to use their very specific skills towards a common goal, and I adore stuff like that. So I very much enjoyed The Final Empire and I cannot wait. With how The Final Empire ended, I cannot wait to get to The Well of Ascension. The next book I got is Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. I've heard really good things about this book. So I haven't heard a lot about it, but I've heard that it's written in verse and everyone raves about it. Everyone says that this is a pretty perfect book. Like, I haven't heard anybody say anything negative about this book. I think even if they're not like a lover of reading in verse, they all seem to like get something from this and take something away from it. So I don't know what it's about. I can tell you that on the back it said, if someone you love gets killed, find the person who killed them and kill them. No crying, no snitching, get revenge. Interesting. It does sound really interesting, and like I say, I've had nothing but good things about this book, so I cannot wait to get to it. Another book that I got is Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. So from what I've heard about this one, we follow Alex Claremont Diaz, whose mother has just become the President of the United States, and he is seen as the royal equivalent, I guess, of whoever is in the UK. It sounds like the person who is an actual royal across the pond. Hi everyone. The royal here is named Henry and they apparently don't get on. But they actually want to, well, not they, I think their families want to form a truce, or at least to the public eye, want to form a truce. And from the sounds of it, at first it's like this, you know, fake friendship, you know, just for Instagram or social media or whatever, but eventually turns into something more. I'm very excited. I really want to read it. I've heard really good things about it, so I cannot wait to find out exactly what happens in this book. The next book I got is Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I've heard a lot of people talk about this book, but I think I also heard Emma from Drinking My Bear Shelf. She read this and I think she really enjoyed it. That's why I think I picked it up, but I had heard a lot of people really enjoyed this book. I think that was another reason I bought this as well. I think I wanted it for a challenge, which I still might do, but because of that I have no idea what this is about, so bear with me. Okay, so from the sounds of it, this takes place in 1969 and somebody named Chase Andrews They find him dead, and the locals blame a girl called Kia Clark because they think she's something called the Marsh Girl. Oh, this sounds like it's gonna be really sad. I don't usually read blurbs. I like to go into books not really knowing a lot about what's going on, so if you're the same, I'll leave it there. But yeah, sounds like they're blaming Kia, but Kia is not who they think she is. Another book I got is Oh My God by Alexandra Shepherd. I think I got this for a readathon. Never did the readathon. Are you sensing a theme? So it sounds like it follows this girl called Helen Thomas, and she is half mortal, half god. And she moves in with her dad and either his or her older siblings, who are Greek gods, living incognito in London. Like, that just sounds so cool. So she's got to keep her family's identity a secret while living a normal life, most likely. Let me check. Trying to live a normal life, basically. Honestly, this just sounds so cool. Anything to do with Greek gods, I am there. I love it. So I still want to read this book. I love that they have the Greek key on the back of the book. I think that's really cool. And oh my god, look, they have the lightning bolt, Zeus lightning bolt as earrings. Yeah, I really want to read this one. I'm really excited. Another one which I got is Mr. Pember's 24-Hour Bookstore by Robin Sloan. I think I heard Jesse from Jesse the Reader talking about this years ago, and I think he really liked it, so I saw it recently and decided to pick it up. And from the sounds of it, we follow Clay Janin, who works in web design, but he's just recently lost his job, and so he takes a job at a 24-hour bookstore, which he thinks is going to be really boring, but turns out it's a lot more than he expects it to be. I haven't read it yet, can't tell you what's going on yet, but I'm really intrigued. And anything in a bookstore, I love anything in a bookstore. So another book which I got was With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I've heard so much about this author and I really want to read all of her works. I think I decided to start with this one. I don't know why I decided to start with this one. I think it's just intrigued me for so long and I've heard really good things about it, so I'm going with this one. So we follow a girl called Imoni, and she wants to be a chef, but she has a 2-year-old daughter. She's 17, she's still at school, so life is just, it's not the easiest from the sounds of it, but she absolutely adores food. She loves making food for other people, and from there I don't really know what happens, but I'm very intrigued to find out. Should have said that at the beginning too. Another book that I got was The Exorcist. This is by William Peter Blatty. I've never seen the movie of The Exorcist, but I decided to buy the book. I was going to read it on Halloween, but then I just had a fun movie night on Halloween with Addams Family, Hocus Pocus, Halloween Towns, Nightmare Before Christmas. It was a great time, but it meant that I didn't get to read this. I like reading a wide variety of books, and I've read a couple of Stephen King. I've read a couple of other books which were deemed horror, but it's one of those things where I think horror means different things maybe to different people, because, well, obviously you have gothic horror, which I think is more about the atmosphere maybe, and then you have, I know that horror doesn't always have to scare you, and that's a good thing. It means that it's versatile and appeals to many different people, but I want to find something that scares me for some reason, and I thought this might do it. I've never seen the movie. Ugh. Am I regretting my decisions? Slightly, but I really want to read it. This has just caught my eye on the inside. I don't know what that is. It looks really cool. Okay, so I definitely want to read this. I'll read it hopefully in November. That seems like a good time. The wintry, darker months I think is probably a good time to read this, so maybe in November I will pick this one up. So another one that I got is The 24-Hour Calf by Libby Page. Ooh, that's blinding white. A lot of them are blank underneath, which is surprising to me. I don't know why, but I really like it. So this book takes place in a place called Stella's Cafe, which from the sounds of it is open 24 hours to the morning people. Honestly, morning people are I don't understand. Sorry, I'm a night owl. But in any case, morning people, night owls, lost people, etc, etc. And it sounds like we followed two waitresses, Anna and Mona, who are best friends and dreamers, and they work at this cafe together. I don't know much about it beyond that. I'm really looking forward to it. I love cafes for some reason. It's a very strange, I think, piece of writing or types of books to like, but I know I do like cafes. I actually wrote a short story about a cafe recently, which I might leave linked down below if you're interested, but I was interested in this and I'm gonna read it at some point. Right, now we have come to the last 3 books of this video, because this is already, well, raw footage, this is already 43 minutes long. We're gonna do this and then the rest of them we'll do in another video. It'll be a great time. In any case, the final 3 for these I'm going to show you together because they are another series. Yes, Illuminate, Gemini, Obsidio, they are heavy. Whew, okay, so Illuminate. Ooh, look at that. Oh my god, that is so cool. I know I've heard this as well, like case files and stuff, so this is really cool. I love that. Okay, so I said this is about case files, but it's not about case files. It's formatted in case files. I legit don't know what this book is about. From the sounds of it, it takes place in the future. It sounds like it follows a girl named Katie, potentially somebody named Ezra, and there's a war taking place over like the ownership, I guess, of their planet. But there are people living on the planet. So I don't know. But I've heard so many good things about this good book. I rarely hear people who say that they didn't like this book. So I'm really looking forward to it. I hope I love it because, well, I have the whole series. Again, this is one where I bought it in hardcover and I think there was like 1 left, and I see, okay, here's the thing. I've made this mistake before. So before, I made this mistake where I didn't get Strange the Dreamer in a cover that I absolutely loved because I just kept putting it off, and then you can't find it anywhere now except for like £100, which I'm not spending £100 on a book. Like, as much as I love the cover and I'm sure the book is great because I still haven't read the book, I would rather, but I'm still like holding out to maybe find it somewhere. It also very nearly happened with the Diviners. I think the old cover was sold out everywhere and I didn't think it was coming back, so, but I really loved these covers anyway. These are the Australian covers and I just think they're so cool. And I think they've come back into stock like the rest of them with this cover, so I'm gonna have to, like, on Book Depository, so I'm gonna have to have a look. But it happened that this book was out of stock in this cover for so long. I didn't think they were gonna come back and I was like, oh no, not again. But this one did, and literally as soon as it did I was like, right, I'm buying it, I don't care. So I'm gonna have to get the rest of them now because I really want my series to match. Plus I just think these covers are absolutely gorgeous. So I've been burned before, so now when I see them where they're like all together, and especially if they've been out for a while, I will buy them together. That's just what I do now, apparently. Judge me all you want, I don't care. But as I say, that is that for today. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope that I explained the books enough. If you've read any, let me know. If you're interested in reading any, let me know. Let's have a discussion. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!